This is the reason why we started Global Turks AI. Our mission is to empower each other and our nation to create a global AI powerhouse, because we strongly believe that Turkey has all the ingredients to be a leader in AI, starting with the talent. Hence, in Global Turks AI, we are uniting Turkish talent around the globe, building the bridges between Istanbul, Silicon Valley, Stanford, Harvard, Columbia, and all the epicenters of AI. And this week is special for us. We are all here to support our country. And in a few days, on Saturday at Stanford University, we will bring 300 Turkish AI experts together for a full day of inspiration and collaboration. And as William Gibson said, the future is here. It's just not evenly distributed. It has never been. But this time, we want to make sure Turkey has a big share of this AI-driven future. Today, we have experts with us. Merve, Director of IBM Research, focusing on agents, the hottest topic. Tolgahan, Senior Director of Applied AI at the largest company of the world, Wallmart. Hatice, Head of Developer Relations at Groq. And Ruhi, a Global Head of Alexa AI. So if you have any issues with Alexa, just text him. And we have Elif, Senior Director of Engineering at Cerebras. Previously, he had engineering management roles at NVIDIA and Meta, an expert in the infrastructure layer. First, we will try to picture the landscape of AI trends together. So my first question is, what cutting-edge AI solutions is your company, IBM, currently working on across the stack? And what are your specific main focus areas and priorities?
Sure. IBM is a 100+ years old tech company that was able to keep reinventing itself with all these technological shifts. We're managing workloads through Red Hat and on cloud. We're working on quantum, we're working on semiconductors, we're working on AI, and I particularly lead a global team of researchers across the globe in Israel, India, and our US labs. And as Ayhan said, we're working on agentic systems. And most of you are familiar with LLMs using ChatGPT and other type of chatbots. And LLMs are great, but agents takes them to the next stage. It's a little bit more sophisticated because it can reason, it can think, act, and observe, and it can go back and change things. Of course, this sophistication comes with added complexity, and to address this complexity, my group particularly is researching tooling, or I call it supportive tooling, to help agent builders create enterprise-level agents more, I think, flexible, easier, scalable, and cheaper. So that's particularly my group's research focus, and I think we'll talk more about like what I do and how these things can help.
Yeah. Hello. So I'm Tolgahan Çakaloğlu, and so at like Wallmart, which is the largest company in the world, and it has been generating big data, for decades. For that reason, Wallmart is and was one of the early adopters of the using the AI and machine learning solutions in order to utilize its big data. And for that reason, we have all the use cases that we are applying using the AI in pretty much every different veins of the company. And for me particularly, I'm a research scientist, and for that reason, I had several experiences and found myself in the current position where actually I am managing the and also helping the company to apply the AI, research and apply the AI in the core retail, like core department of the retail business, which is supply chain. So we are actually trying to apply and research and apply the AI in terms of starting from forecasting to simulation, then causal discovery, inference, and then multi-agent, multi-hierarchical agentic framework as well. And for that reason, we are actually working on number of many cases. That's how we can actually address our unique cases by addressing the the unique cases using the AI.
Let's go.
So we talked a lot about use cases, and all of the founders in this room are currently building out solutions. You've probably used ChatGPT, you've probably used LLMs. All of those things, in order to work, need one thing, right? That's working infrastructure. So at Groq, we are making AI infrastructure available to all. You've heard of GPUs. Most of the frontier labs are running their models on legacy hardware. AI inference, as we all know, is where the economies are heading. We need a new infrastructure, new hardware to actually support these use cases and these real-time use cases that we're building out. So Groq actually has custom-built silicon. Our founder, Jonathan Ross, actually found Groq in 2016, so we've been around for a while, and we specialize in getting open source and closed source models out there. You're probably familiar with Meta's Llama, DeepSeek, Qwen, Kimi, K2 Thinking that just came out the other day. And we run those on our, not GPUs, not CPUs, custom-built silicon known as LPUs, where we get 20x even more performance. If you've ever used ChatGPT and you've seen the words streaming on the screen, with Groq, that is absolutely instant, and that's actually, for founders, you should be thinking about an elite user experience so that your users don't churn. So you're going to need this infrastructure, and it's important to diversify and make sure that your LLM suppliers aren't just using legacy hardware, but hardware that's built for this AI economy and built for your solutions. And I'm working on developer relations. I think we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah, do you hear me? That's a very difficult question to answer in 3 minutes for Amazon. Amazon has a number of businesses, from retail, shopping, where we use AI, to AWS, Alexa, devices and services. We build hardwares, but Amazon has been using AI for 25 years. And if you have an Amazon app, no two people can see the same page when you open the app. It's personalized for each of you. And behind it, there are AI algorithms that optimizes what we think you should see. It's very personalized. Since 2016, we have drone delivery using computer vision algorithms, delivering packages to your backyard as fast as possible. We have over 1 million robots in our warehouses, again, powered by AI, to maximize the efficiency. I am in the Alexa planet in Amazon solar system. And we are building the best personal AI for the customers. Let me stop here. I can go on and on.
All right. Elif Albuz. I'm coming from Cerebras Systems. Similar to Hatice, we work on infrastructure, enabling your needs, actually. Everybody in this room is using models that are trained on ML infrastructure and then served on ML infrastructure. So Cerebras is a wafer scale architecture. They have built, our company has built the biggest chip that you can build. It's the full wafer, and it has almost 1 million processors on it, specifically designed for accelerating training and inference. And at Cerebras, I lead software team building state-of-the-art models, their training, their adaptation tools to adapt these models to new areas, fine-tuning them, applying reinforcement learning and other technologies. And then also, after they are deployed, how do we refine, how do we further them, so they're post-training, and also having these models efficiently ported to inference so you can have them deployed in a cost-effective way.
Great. So to summarize, we mentioned about agentic tooling, supply chain optimization, inference efficiency, personalization, post-training, reasoning, fine-tuning. So yeah, these are all the emerging themes. But at the same time, recent MIT report, the famous report, claims that 95% of all the POCs fail, despite all the innovation happening in the last 2-3 years. And what is one game-changing innovation or use case that you believe in 2026 will have the most impact? My personal favorite is reinforcement learning environments. Because unlike humans, agents are not able to learn on the job from the experience. So by creating a digital twin of an actual enterprise workflow use case with the tools, we can enable agents to optimize their objectives through reward engineering and reinforcement learning algorithms. I think this will play a crucial role in accelerating enterprise adoption. So let's hear from you.
Sure. I can totally relate to 95% of those failures because we started building these agents 2 years ago in IBM research. And to this date, still, these sophisticated agents across different domains fail if you don't support or build this supportive tooling for them. So for, I think, 2026, I believe self-learning agents that you alluded, Ayhan, will be the big game changer. But to get there, you're not going to design a one large, very complex agent. What we observed is most architectures are evolving into multi-agent architecture style. So you build specific sub-agents that you need to coordinate and orchestrate when the utterance comes from the user. So I believe the differentiation is going to be how nimble you are in this multi-agent orchestration level, that you will incorporate latency, that you will incorporate the cost. If, for example, a very simple question comes like as if like, hi, how are you? You don't really need to go and run the most sophisticated model that the sub-agent is using. You can use a more cost-effective agent that runs a much smaller and cheaper model to answer this simple question. So different reasoning modes, different optimization trade-offs that you can do at this multi-agent orchestration level. I believe that's going to be one game changer. I have one more, which is memory. To be able to get to the self-learning, yes, like most of the agent providers claim they have memory, but memory spans across a lot of different points. So storage is one, data structure is another one. What I'm talking about, the procedural and episodic memory, that you leverage these trajectories that agents runs and try to synthesize them and learn where you failed, where you did better, and how can you make sure that you don't repeat these mistakes when you do the next orchestration. So I believe these will be the differentiators for 2026 and beyond. And I think it's very exciting, as you can probably tell how passionate I'm about this. So yeah.
Yeah, can't agree more.
Yeah. So actually, it's a great question, but at the same time, given the speed or the pace of the field, 1 year is quite long, and we would expect, or we might expect, a lot of, changes, breakthroughs. But I think, one thing I believe is going to be the pretty important, which actually we have seen that case recently, which is like small models. So small models are going to be pretty important. And we are going to, and we already saw, and we are going to keep seeing that even model sizes such as 7 million, 10 million parameters are going to overtake, maybe surpass the models like 100 billions, 200 billions parameters. And we are actually seeing that kind of cases, especially in the data sets in which we call the data sets that is helping the models to go to the AGI path, which includes hard tasks, so that it can prove the reasoning of the models, and also the making it close to a biological brain type of results. So I think one thing is going to be the small or even tiny models is going to be something emergent. And the second part, or second idea that I have is vibe coding is going to be pretty important as well. The reason why I am saying that, because especially in the enterprises, the traditional business model, so you have the people in the company, and those people are actually, you can call it business people or expert people who knows the details of the company or operations. And typically those people, or in traditional model, those people are connecting with the technical teams to tell their ideas and expect the technical teams to come up with a solution. Then they can take that solution and try to socialize it in order to apply it. But probably, if you start to let your people to adapt with the AI and encourage them or certifying them how to work with AI, make the AI as a companion, and also build a tool like a vibe coding type of tool, then those business users who are the experts, who know everything within the company, can actually start producing the proof of concept, POCs, using this type of vibe coding. And those proof of concept, let's say that they generate hundreds. And if you take, if you evaluate them, maybe 10 of them are going to be highly valuable one. Then which means that they can actually share these high valuable, 10 projects that are already validated with the crystal clear business use cases. Then the technical teams can take them and start to scale and productionize them, so that you can automatically actually blocking the unnecessary wasting the technical team's time for the projects that are not going to be impactful. Instead, you just give them a crystal clear projects, they work on it, beautify it, and your actually business team who were idle previously in terms of technical, right now become an important piece in order to execute those type of, or be part of the solution.
Yeah, we have millions of prototypers, maybe a new job profession. Yeah.
Yeah, so what both Merve and Tolgahan said have one thing in common, which is fast AI inference. And AI inference, if you haven't heard of the term inference, is just you query a model, it giving you an answer is inference, or the act of inference. But I'll say something different, and I'll actually quickly say two things. One, the industry has taken a turn to really place importance on tool use. So LLMs, or large language models, are the brains. If you're building AI agents, you know that first we started off with LLMs as chatbots, right? But they're only limited to their training data. So if I were to go and ask what event is taking place today in Istanbul, it's not going to be able to give me an answer. It's going to hallucinate or say, I don't know. So then we evolved over the past year and a half, 2 years, where every single frontier lab is now training models to not only be good at their static data, but to be extremely good at what we call tool use. And tool use is just the act of, you have your LLM as the brain, and then think of tools as APIs, databases, access that you're giving that brain so that it can actually answer questions. For example, you can give an LLM access to a web search API, and then all of a sudden I ask that same question and I get an accurate answer. So you can see everywhere that frontier labs are now trying to increasingly make these models that are extremely good at tool use. And if you're building agents, you really need to check out all of the models, and they're going to keep getting better and better. I think Moonshot AI just released Kimi K2 Thinking, which again beats benchmarks in tool use. So I think that's really important to look at. And two, the industry has been in an uproar around benchmarks, and you will see all these frontier labs, spit out, oh, we're the next new soda model, this, that, and there are these industry evals. But if you're a founder and you are looking at LLMs and comparing across and maybe just using something like simple eval or anything that is standard that frontier labs are telling you to use, because that's what they're maybe training their models on, you should be looking at your own internal use cases, and I'm sure you all have plenty internally working with customers as well, and actually testing those models on your own benchmarks. Like, your data and your use cases should be your benchmarks. So I think increasingly in the next year and in the future we'll be going that.
Yeah, MCP is a great example of tool use.
Yeah, I have a couple of things. I believe there are fundamental trends that are at play. This will keep happening in 2026. The models will get smarter. The cost of intelligence will come down exponentially. The physical understanding of the model, causality, gravity, it will start to happen by training on multimodal data. Maybe towards the end of 2026, early 2027, robotics and AI will start to converge. I wouldn't be surprised if I see humanoid robots with AI walking in the street.
Wow, that was a brief answer.
I'm expecting that many of you are developing ML-based solutions or users of ML-based solutions. One of the key things in this area is, of course, cost efficiency or responding to the questions in the region that you are in. And what we believe is that there is a lot of opportunity to adapt your problems into specific area, optimizing them for serving at inference, distilling your models, or fine-tuning your models for that specific area with your own data is going to be quite crucial. Even after you deploy them, the work doesn't end because now you get feedback from your customers. And at that point, you want to further tune through reinforcement learning, online learning, further refine these models. You incorporate, and then comes another layer on top of it, which is the agentic flow. How do you bring all these pieces together and create flows that transforms technology? I expect a lot of innovation on all layers of the stack so that customers like yourself and the users, as all of us, can benefit from all this innovation.
Great, yeah. To summarize again, we discuss self-learning, memory, multi-agent orchestration, wipe coding, tool using, small models, increasing level of intelligence and then decreasing level of cost, and then also domain adaptation. So final actually question is, okay, given all these trends and the landscape, how can Turkey and the Turkish founders can differentiate in this landscape? What are some technical or business model recommendations? And it will be great if you can complement with a real-life example.
Sure. Elif talked about infrastructure and like how you need to be testing across different models, different tooling, and Hatice brought the tool calling aspect of the agents, and that's what makes, I think, agents really sexy because it can do things on behalf of yourself now, right? But again, it comes with other complexity, and as founders, you may find a lot of frameworks that you can go and build an agent, a simple React agent or some other like Kodak agent and other like ready-to-use frameworks to test and use. But today's frameworks may not be the right framework next month or 6 months or next year. Even this is applicable to models as well. Like the best model last year is not the best model this year. So while you're building your applications as founders, I think you need to think about interoperability. The standards and protocols are emerging. As Ayhan just like briefly mentioned, the MCP model context protocol or agent-to-agent A2A protocol and others. I think you need to be thinking through your applications being compatible with these protocols. Therefore, when the next wave of frameworks or the models come, you can quickly switch and test and evaluate and see the benefits of the newest and brightest tooling that is out there. So my recommendation would be as agnostic as much as you can and follow these protocols. Therefore, you can be flexible when the next best tool comes. Therefore, you can upgrade your applications and things that you're building.
Yeah, that's good. Actually, Hatice, as Hatice mentioned, just a minute ago, so the most important thing is actually evaluation. So if you don't measure, you cannot improve. So I think you need to assess whether your solution or the thing that you want to build is really applicable to surrounded or applied by agentic, work stream. So I think, yeah, it is, as maybe sexy, maybe it's important to label your solution with the, AI and agentic AI tags, but what you should, pay attention is that you need to check out what is your end goal, and then go from the, backwards type of, process, then try to understand whether your workflow, your end goal is going to be compatible with the agentic AI workflow. If you believe that yes, it is going to be, then you need to, before you actually create your implementation or make everything ready in order to be deployed, what you need to do is to create your evaluation, and benchmarks so that you can make sure that what each component is going to produce, then how you are going to evaluate them, and then you make sure that, yes, it is actually verifying your expected outputs. And also, another important point is that not every model is going like especially nowadays, right? We keep hearing, this company, started to, push their new version of their, something model. And then you automatically, want to use that model in your workflow immediately. So actually, pursuing the latest is not always the greatest path. So you should make sure that you are checking their benchmark, and make sure that their benchmark, and also you need to pay attention that their benchmark should be complementary to your own benchmark. So again, you need to make sure that you shouldn't pay 80% of the like, you shouldn't pay big amount of money to your model if you don't utilize the 80% of it. Just use the 20%, like a Pareto case,
Great.
That's really important when it comes to scalability. You don't know how many startups we've talked to at Groq where they were using a major inference provider, and then they didn't expect to get a wave of users. All of a sudden, at the end of the month, their bill is in the millions of dollars for inference. So definitely take a look at smaller models. This one might be surprising, and maybe I'm biased because I'm in developer relations and it's my entire job, but it's so important to build a community around your product, even if it's just your close friends. Those early testers will be so important to you for you to get an outside perspective on how your product is, how easy it is to actually use, so that you can actually scale. Groq was founded in 2016, but actually nobody knew about us, even inside of the US, even though we were founded there, until a year and a half ago, when we switched to a API cloud-based solution with our OpenAI compatible API, so that we could offer inference via those APIs to the world instead of selling hardware, which is really, really tough if you're in that industry. And us going into developer-led or product-led growth opened so many doors for us. I was, responsible for helping to build out our developer community in the US from 0 to 1. We now have 2.5 million developers globally, doing the same thing in Saudi right now. I want to do the same thing in Turkey. Hopefully we can get a couple of data centers in here as well to serve inference. But community is super important. Even if it's just a few friends, a few engineers if you need technical people, or even anyone you meet in this room today, so you can get real feedback and take that feedback, even if it's negative feedback. Just use it as a marker of improving your product. A lot of our ambassadors for the programs that we've created with DevRel, they've provided some of the best insights we've ever had, even though at first they were very harsh. And I was like, wow, you guys are kind of mean. But that really helped us to grow as a company and just put out better features. So don't underestimate community and developer advocacy. That will open up maybe VC and funding doors for you later. Because instead of you selling from your mouth, it's other people talking, hey, how cool is Groq, or how cool is your product? And then that will give you more opportunities.
And if you are looking for partnerships, reach out to Hatice and all of us.
Yeah, please reach out. I'm looking for partnerships, especially if you have an open source component in whatever you're building.
Yeah. I believe the AI's disruption will happen in two main areas. One is healthcare, the other one is education. It's disrupting all the areas, but these are the top two. For US, in terms of real dollar, those are the two areas that exceeded inflation, quadrupled, tripled, while everything else is coming down. So you know the system, and even in Turkey, in US, healthcare is broken, education system is broken. It's really ripe for disruption. And this is one aspect, general area, it's applicable across the board. The other one is, I think it's important to focus on, if you are building something for Turkey, there are unique cultural elements. the lift and shift solutions do not always work. If you create value, understanding the culture, how the system works, and you add your value in addition to models getting smarter, then your startup, your solution will be durable. But those are the areas that I would focus on, with the element of how Turkish system, education, healthcare works, and building solutions around it, and that will require some level of customization as well.
As Ruhi mentioned, customization for your own country is quite important. If you're using ChatGPT or any of these models, you translate this to Turkish, it does a terrible job. I was so excited to see many of the companies here attempted to build, and they have solutions, train Turkish models or fine-tune. I was so excited. Actually, to be able to do that, it is quite important to have an infrastructure here. So having a data center that is power efficient, that ensures your data is sovereign, stays in the country, and it is cost effective, and so you can have your inference service instantaneous. It is a total game changer. So your experiences become real time. You can have call centers that's running in real time. So I think my recommendation is to have build these data centers and make it available to the founders here, to the young entrepreneurs. I think it would be a total game changer, and it would bring these young generation of CEOs to the global level.
Great. Again, to summarize, we discussed interpolarity, evaluation-driven development, community building and partnerships, importance of healthcare and the education domain, customization, and finally, all what we want is data centers for Turkey. I can just add, maybe for the first time in the history, we are not building a product in time, but we are building innovation sandbox for the future. So I think it is the most important question is not what you build today, but how you keep up with all the speed of innovation. So engineer for the speed of innovation, I would just say. Thank you very much. We are really happy and proud to be here. And on Saturday, we will be at Stanford. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.